You comfort yourself with the fantasy that you're morally superior to me, but you're not. First day you arrived, I asked if anyone was a carpenter, and you eagerly threw up your hands. And from that day on, you've labored here, working on behalf of the Third Reich.
I had no choice.
Yes, you have. But you're afraid of the choice. The alternative.
Coffee's on your time, no compromise, no reason, no explaining why. The furniture is where you want it, the quiet is your friend. No borrowed moves to walk on, no energy to spend. You paint the walls a color that they always hated. You play that record loud, the one they always debated. Every single choice is yours and yours alone to make. For goodness, for your pleasure, for your own damn sake. Cause you don't need anyone to tell you who you are. You don't need anyone to heal your deepest scars. You don't need anyone to make you feel complete. You're the rhythm and the reason, you're the rhythm and the beat. Your world for you. You don't need anyone to see your vision through. You don't need anyone to stand out in the sun. Your race is run by one and you're the one who won. The silence isn't empty, it's a space to hear your thoughts, to sift through all the static and connect the missing dots. You learn to fix the faucet, you learn to face the fear. There's no one else to run to, so your own voice is clear. You make a mistake and only you are there to see. You learn a little lesson about who you're meant to be. No arguments to settle, no feelings to appease. Just a simple honest truth carried on the breeze. Cause you don't need anyone to tell you who you are. You don't need anyone to hear your deepest scars. You don't need anyone to make you feel complete. You're the rhythm and the reason, you're the rhythm and the beat. You don't need anyone to build your world for you. You don't need anyone to see your vision through. You don't need anyone to stand out in the sun. Your race is run by one and you're the one who won. It's not about rejecting love or pushing people out. It's about the strength you find when you remove the doubt that you are somehow lesser, a half that needs a whole. You're the pillar and the foundation, you're the heart and soul. And when you choose to let someone in, it's not a need, it's a choice, an addition, not a completion, a unified, clear voice. Cause you don't need anyone to tell you who you are. You don't need anyone to heal your deepest scars. You don't need anyone to make you feel complete. You're the rhythm and the reason, you're the rhythm and the beat. You don't need anyone to build your world for you. You don't need anyone to see your vision through. You don't need anyone to stand out in the sun. Your race is run by one and you're the one who won. Yeah, you're the one who won. Yo, yeah, you're the one who won. Yeah, you're the one who won. Just you.
Hello and welcome to the Crypto Conspiracy. This is your host, Luke, coming to you live in the Komodo Discord. Yes, Komodo, which is the topic of the day today, because that's just where the news is, right? Gotta keep with the news. So Komodo seems to have sold to Gleec, what a weird name, GLEEC. Not really a great name for any project, in my opinion, because who's going to remember that, and who's going to remember to spell it correctly if somebody wasn't really thinking when they came up with that. The white paper is posted in the chit chat channel, guys. So you go take a look at the owners behind it and what they have done, what they are doing. Blah, blah. Doesn't seem very different from any other project, other than they offer a lot of different things. I personally never used it, never heard of it now, which does raise a red flag in my head too. Going forward, guys, unfortunately, Komodo was already dead, and we all know this. Right? You got to search your heart. Guys. Look at that price, and it's been like that for ages. So Komodo wasn't going anywhere. And now, if you do hold the coin, I don't, but if you do, you might actually see something happen now, because 99% of crypto is in that direction. Right? They're going into that compliant direction. Even the NFTs and all those tokens, they have no choice, and because they're transparent. They really have no choice. And if their developers are transparent, they absolutely have no choice. So when I started in crypto, it was nothing like this, guys. Nothing like this. There's no such thing as giving a project a resume back then. Like, bro, what are you talking about? What do you think this is? Corporate America over here? It wasn't like that, guys. Back then, we saw a great project and we all got involved in it. Not because we were trying to make money off of the damn thing. And we were trying to make a better technology, a more private technology, right? Everything started in Komodo. That's why this is a very popular coin, and unfortunately, they did chase away people with the KYC. And a lot of the environment, most likely went to pirate. And now it looks like it's going to happen again, and the same mistake is going to happen again. But the only good news out of this is that the project is not going to die. It was going to die, guys. There was no, that price wasn't moving. You could see that. If you examine the charts the way I've seen them, every time somebody made a big buy, there's a huge dump following it, and it just doesn't seem to get anywhere. And so this is good news for people that are holding the coin, because now it will be part of that whole degen Solana, EVM environment, which is very different from Pirate's environment, from the old school level one, no token environment. QC wallets, old school stuff. Problem with all these new things these days is there's a lot of traps. Nothing is private. Now, I hear a lot of people saying, it's decentralized. Yes, it's good to have decentralization, guys. It is. But it's not a feature. Decentralization is not a feature of anything, because it depends what it's supporting. If you have decentralization and you're supporting something tyrannical, something not made by God, right? Like gold. If you're supporting that and you add decentralization to it, you add something called fault tolerance to it, right? Technically, what fault tolerance does is it makes something unbreakable. You can't take it down anymore. So you need to think about the direction you're heading into, right? If you decentralize tyranny, what are you really doing? Are you helping the future at all? Or are we creating a more communist country over here? If you decentralize something, freedom-minded, something open source, something that gives the people power, then those people will have power forever, because you've made it fault tolerant. It cannot be taken down. Right? And there is a technology called reticulum. You guys should look into it. I believe that's going to be the new internet, because the internet itself is not decentralized. It's very centralized. Technically, IP addresses are not owned by you. You think they are, but they're not. They're rented to you. So when you sign up for the internet, they give you an IP address, and it's a rented IP address. That's why you pay them. Right? It's a IP, intellectual property. Hey, what's up, Doc?
Cloudflare had another outage today too. So talk about not non-centralized. Almost everything depends on Cloudflare too.
Well,
and AWS and all that BS, the servers and everything. It's not decentralized.
Yeah, well, Cloudflare is a big red flag all the time. But people use it for protection, and at the same time, it does the opposite as well. But the best thing about Cloudflare is that every time it goes down, all the coins with masternodes, they end up going. All the masternodes go down because the servers that they're hosting it on all use Cloudflare. So all their nodes go down all at once, and Bitcoin is like looking dead. And that's something masternodes corrected over time. But it's pretty funny. Cloudflare is I wouldn't trust it. But people, sometimes you got to use something like that to protect yourself from the spam and the hack. Even though there are other ways of doing it, but people always take the easy way out. In the next show, guys, at 4:00, we got CA Tree coming. I'm not sure if the owners of Gleec are coming. I think he said they are. So this will be interesting to hear the future of Komodo. Will Komodo survive? You guys think Komodo will survive what's going on right now? Yes, no, maybe. I think it will. It may not be private the way we want it to be. It may not be the direction we want it to go, but like I said, it's entering that other realm. And apparently coins like Farcoin seem to do great. I don't know what it does. Entering Komodo into that realm is probably going to do well for the coin, and not at this point, like I said, it's on the floor already. There's really nothing else that could be done now, unless there's a huge revolution going into the other direction, into the privacy realm. Right? But I don't see that happening. So keep in mind, though, there are other alternatives out there, guys. So there's the GleecDEX, which is one I am now greatly looking at to use myself, and it is a fork of Komodo. The devs are anonymous, and at some point in time, if Komodo gets really bad, they could always change the net ID on the Komodo DEX and make their own version of Komodo, where every fork of that version will be shared. The liquidity will be shared on the GleecDEX fork. So there'll be like now two of these technologies where people forking Komodo will jump into that realm and have to do what whatever the code there says to do. But when you fork it and you change the net ID, it's like a whole new Komodo where coins that fork that GleecDEX or whatever fork decides to do, they will share that liquidity with that fork, not the Komodo fork. I hope you get that. If you have questions, ask. It's a little complicated. Yeah. So, but the most important thing here, guys, is that it stays open source, right? That Komodo stays open source and keeps plugging away at open source. Now there was about a month ago, Komodo was about to get rid of everybody. It was over, guys. It was dead. Komodo was dead. People were gone. People were leaving. It was over. Now Gleek comes in and they spend what $23 million, which doesn't really seem like a lot in this realm, right? For a project, and now we could continue development. Right? So this is the way I envision it, guys. This is the way I see this going. Komodo is going to be like Zcash, right? So Zcash is what Pirate uses to upgrade a lot of things, right? When they come out with something, Pirate takes it and makes it better, right? And use it. Same. I think that's what's going to happen here with Komodo, guys. But in terms of the DEX, right? So any DEX from now on, public or private, will be able to utilize the upgrades that these devs are now getting paid for to make their own decks better, right? They could just take it, fork it, because it's open source, and make it better. So, 1 second, guys. Turn off the alarms. Sorry about that. Turn on to hear that beeping in the background. All right, done. All right. So, getting back to it, guys, Komodo will survive. It will not be taking the direction that we want it to go, but it might be really good because we haven't really seen any great developments going on in the last what was the last time they did something amazing besides putting Pirate in there? Something that you really wanted to use it for. You need something that gets people excited. Gets people, oh man, this is amazing. I want to use it. And that's the thing, guys. If you don't get people in crypto excited, then nobody's going to really care much about the project. And that's probably why NFTs work so well because pictures make people a lot more excited than words. I still don't understand why things like Farcoin get so pumped and popular, but maybe that's part of the Solana. Maybe somebody else could explain that because I don't use Solana. I don't use any of those things. Binance, none of that crap. I personally don't believe in second layer coins, tokens. I've stayed away from tokens so long. You could ask anybody, and when I did, I saw other people that just got into the DeFi realm of tokens, get hurt. They got severely hurt. I'm watching my friends, buying monkey pictures, and I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, you just paid $1,000 for a monkey picture, and that's a little weird, no, guys? I mean, what made you think that was a good idea? Look, the NFT scene is dead. They lost a lot of money. But those pictures aren't worth 2 cents. And literally, I can screen copy it, and now I got a copy of my own. So who cares if you own it or not, right? The fact that it's on chain, it says you own that photo. Like, who cares? It's a picture of a monkey. So the things that get us excited shouldn't be getting us excited, And I blame that on the fact that the realm has a lot of newbies in it, a lot of crypto newbies, and they don't really understand what this is all about. But crypto is a war. It's not a casino. If people come here, they think they're going to throw money at Farcoin and they're going to make 10x what they have. It's not going to happen. It could happen, but what you're actually doing is you're enslaving yourself. You're using something that traces and tracks you. And let me kick my dog out. Sorry, guys. Let me go in. Get out of here. Sorry about the interruption, guys. It is what it is. All right, but hey, you guys got any questions? Just open the mic. Let's have a talk about Komodo. What is worrying you? What makes you think that this is the end for Komodo? Because I'm not happy with compliancy news ever, but I personally don't think this is the end. I think this might actually be just the beginning. What Komodo needs to lift off from this price that's been dead for years. Open your mic, guys. Tell me what's worrying you. Are you worried? Are you worried that this is the end for Komodo? Like 50 people in it.
I'll throw something in there. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, man.
I'm on my phone. Yeah. I think, like you said before, open source is a big thing that, we can all benefit from no matter what happens with Komodo and Gleek. I think there's some other infrastructure besides just, for instance, I agree what you said about the GleecDEX fork has been great, and Honglu's done a good job making that available when it was turned off on us. But there's some other infrastructure that we have to realize is also part of what Komodo offers. Things like the API for the information providers that give price information, give us statistics and things like that we might have to be prepared to also either fork or recreate. state as a
Yes.
backup.
Yes.
Hopefully, Gleek will be supportive of all this anyway, and we won't have to worry about it. So I just thought I'd throw that in there, and
Well,
appreciate what you guys are.
Well, this is my feelings on that, right? If Gleek decides to do that, everyone's going to abandon ship. You see, because and this is that might be a good thing because every one of you coins out there that are in Komodo wallet will decide to finally fork it and make it your own, right? You'll put it in your own wallet and you'll use it. You won't have to go to Komodo's wallet. You'll go to your own because you have your own fork. And so this might be a good thing that pushes people in the direction, where this technology needs to go, right? To keep it free and keep it open source. And if you're an owner of a project in here, I highly, recommend that you start maybe asking your developer on how to add Komodo to your own wallet. Add Komodo's technology, not literally Komodo. But it could be a good thing. You never know what the future brings. You don't. Right? Everything always looks bleak, until it's not. If Gleek, jumping into this coin, raises the coin from what is it, freaking 3 cents right now to 30 cents, would you be so angry? Would you still be angry that they went the compliant route? Hey, I guess it depends how much coin you hold, right? Like I would probably still be angry, but if it's good for coin holders. I think what's going on now, the coin holders are going to be a lot happier with the route it's going for their profits. But also, like I said, Komodo could be the Zcash. The way Zcash is to pirate, Komodo will be to all the forks of these DEX, all the Komodo DEX forks. And there's a lot of them out there. What is that? Firo, I think, did it. Cheetah. There was Marmara. I think there's another one out there. I'm not remembering at the moment. But there are forks of it out. Actually, Gleek itself, I think, is also a fork. It was before they bought it out. It was also a fork of Komodo. Or they were in the ecosystem. It wasn't just a random, let's buy this now to kill it. So they've been here a while. They've been using the tech. So it's not so bad. It might look bad, but I don't think it's that bad. And they know. If they're smart, they'll know not to disturb the waters any more than they already have, unless they plan on adding better features. And if they keep it open source, everything will be fine. If they close source it, they literally just put the nail in the coffin. In my opinion, this is the last nail in the coffin, and it's over. People like pirates probably won't even bother looking at it anymore. And keep in mind, guys, I feel really bad because I've been pushing Komodo, this technology, for so long now, in the last 3 months, especially ever since Trade Ogre went down, because we needed a solution. I lost a lot of money on Trade Ogre. Yes, I'm an idiot for keeping my coins on the exchange. So learn from my mistakes. I don't even learn from my mistakes. So at least you could learn from my mistakes.
Can I jump in for a comment on your Komodo? I just want to mention that I really in the Discord say we need to separate the Komodo technology, which is DEX wallet, from the value, which is coin, right? So the technology, I see this as a net positive because the reason is it's alternative. It's shutting down. All the dev is gone. Forks don't pay salaries. You know what I mean? Right? So the worst case is, let's put it this way. Gleec decide, anyway, next month we shut down, lay off everybody. They shut down anyway. I did not know it beforehand, but now I know it. A month ago, they decided already shutting down. So Komodo shutting down, Gleec shutting down, no different, right? So that's the way that they are willing to offer the technology, pay the salary, open source, sure, they pay the salary, sure, that will continue. So it is net positive for technology. Now, that's a positive, and I don't expect too much of the contribution, but it is ongoing. They are doing a great job. I think I love the technology, wallet, DEX. It's awesome, right? So that's that. Everybody agree with that. So that's not an issue. Now, what is difficult to argue is KMD value. I do perceive, yes, that's uncertain. That's for sure. So either way, not own that much of KMD, and I don't plan to own anything. If I own anything, pretty much like sold off already. So because I don't perceive that much of a thing. So the reason is, let me put this way. Be honest, if they do want to merge, I prefer the other way around. Not Gleek by Komodo. Komodo by Gleek better. You know what I mean? Like Komodo, they want a KYC. Sure, you put the money Gleek, right? Not the other way around. You see what I mean? Now, the other way around for me is like, that's actually not necessary. You see, that's actually serious doubt on the KMD. Now, do I feel negative percent? No, I don't feel. These like a USDT, USDC, you see that the coin value is flat. Like that might be the flat. It's like KMD becomes more like stay here, supported by Gleek. They don't want to piss off people off, keep buying it. Actually, will never go down, go up. Stay here. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's going to stay pretty much stable if they just don't touch it. Yeah, and you're right. And this could be great for the other dexes that are forked, because now there's going to be development. Now there's going to be a lot more development and paid development. And any, just like Zcash, whatever gets built there, the forks will follow and they'll take it and they'll make it better. And if there's any bad things in the code, there are going to be pirates that are going to remove that shit, and we're going to make it better. And so this is not a bad thing, guys. This is not a bad thing that Gleec came in and saved Komodo's life, because it was going down. There was no, you could see it. There was no, even in the chat, you see the last 3 months, I've been trying to get people to talk to each other and get together and make Komodo great again. But it hasn't been so strong, right? But we've been doing great. Look at the participation now. And I believe that if we kept going, we probably would have had 50 to 100 people in these chats at some point. But you know what? That doesn't have to stop. Right? We could still, Gleec is not the enemy. Right? Gleec actually saved Komodo's life, even though we don't like compliance as a pirate in our soul. We just cannot like that kind of stuff. But it's not a bad thing, because now they're going to build it for us. Right? If they build out the Komodo technology, we're going to be able to take it and put it in our own. Just like Zcash, right? Pirate takes a lot of, Tachyon, the trustless setup, Orchard. That wasn't built by Pirate. That was built by Zcash. Guess what? Zcash is 100% compliant. Their devs are all controlled. Their devs do not have the freedom to make what they want, because somebody above them will say, no, you cannot do that. And that's the problem with compliance. Freedom doesn't reign and innovation doesn't happen, because the devs cannot build.
Can I continue? I had an unfinished ambition.
Sure.
I don't think I agree with you. Gleec is a friend, because no matter how much of hand help, so it's like without Gleec, it's shutting down anyway, right? So it's the end of debate. We all know it's good, it's a positive, it's a friend. Now, the thing is, we shouldn't expect too much from Gleec for the privacy. We all love privacy, and I love decentralization. I think both are important. On the Komodo ecosystem, I knew anything about privacy of KMD. Now, for today, I think we should forget about the KMD for privacy, because fact of government pressure on Gleec, you are putting your firm, your owner, putting whole developers into danger if you touch anything about privacy for KMD. Right. I think we can forget about that.
Correct.
The KMD privacy is ARR. I actually like ARR. I think we should treat ARR, the pirate chain, as Komodo privacy. There's no such thing about Komodo privacy in KMD anymore. No way to do it, because there's too danger for the, we don't want our friend fall, right? So Gleec could fall. Government say, hey, you're doing KMD. It's, hey, KMD has to do with us. Gleec, we have zero relation with KMD. We know it's you acquired. The fault. You Gleec is the fault of KMD privacy lawsuit to court. Right. Pretty sure they're scared. There's no way to. There's no relation. Say to government, say zero relationship to KMD. Hard argument. You are related. KMD's violation of privacy is your Gleec fault. You see what I mean?
Right.
So there's no way for KMD to touch anything about it.
As long as they have somebody to attack, they will use them, no matter what, right? So if you don't make them happy, they're definitely they're not gonna make you happy. That's for sure.
So for that purpose, AR privacy chain, pirate chain. For me, KMD privacy AR is pirate chain. I actually knew very late on this, but we can forget about KMD privacy. That's too dangerous for that.
And the fact that pirate already works in the technology is fantastic. It's already built in. So when you fork it, you can fork all that goodness with it. You can have the protection of real private money, right, which is pirate, and you have to have the protection of atomic swaps. And Komodo will lead the way with making the technology, but they will be the forks like GleecDEX and Marmara. I don't know if they're still around, but there's a lot of forks of this technology already. And 2 nights ago when I did Coinspiracy in NYC, I did promote the fact that every project owner needs to fork it right now. They all understood there was a lot of privacy lovers there. So, it's going to be great, guys. Don't think this is the end for Komodo. Technically, I think this is just the beginning. We were going nowhere. What were you waiting for? So don't feel like this is bad news. Go out there and tell people this is not bad news. This is good news, because this is going to force people to fork it. And and this happens all the time. You try to cut the head off the snake, and 10 more snakes appear. This is what happened. I think the first time Komodo tried to add geo fencing, whatever was added to the code, that's what caused all all the forks, right? We started seeing forks of Komodo after that. That's just what happens in crypto. That's the point of open source, is that when somebody makes something you don't like, guess what? You could copy it, you could fork it, you can make it yours, and you can make it better, and you can make it the way you want to make it, which is the most important. Because innovation does not happen until creative people start making the things that they feel a technology needs, not what a corporation feels a technology needs, or what you feel a technology needs. Right? As a developer, as a privacy advocate, as a freedom fighter, you know the direction it has to go, so you make it happen. The good news is that a lot of the development will be done by Gleec, and you'll be able to copy it and make it better. Komodo has been going on for about 11 years now, guys, 12 maybe. So we're at 3 cents. The project that is 12 years old should not be at 3 cents. There was something went wrong somewhere. And also keep in mind, when Pirate came out, a lot of the privacy advocates from the Komodo ecosystem went into Pirate. That's why Pirate was amazing. All those cypherpunks from the old days went into Pirate. And a lot of them, Komodo started out as promoting privacy. Komodo was all about privacy. It was the whole reason why we got into the DEX. It was the first to make an atomic DEX, as far as I'm concerned. Right? It was the first one I saw. And back then, everybody wanted to be on the DEX. Why? Because they wanted privacy. A lot of people will shun it. They'll say, oh, it's not needed. Blah. Look, the fact that Samurai Wallet got attacked and Tornado got attacked, did you see how many people got upset? Did you feel that emotion coming out from the people saying, oh, you can't do this to the Samurai devs? Well, yes, they weren't anonymous. They can, technically. Right? So did you feel it? Did you feel that? That anger was the fact that people want privacy. They just don't understand that they don't have to use a Tumblr to do that. They could have used Monero, they could have used Pirate, that have that built in by default. Nobody knows where it came from. You send the coin to somebody, you can't even see that person's address that sent it to you. That's how private it is. You don't need the Tumblrs. That's old school stuff. Who gives a crap about Samurai and Tornado? It's actually laughable that people are getting upset over this technology that's not even needed. It's only needed because you don't understand that there's better. You don't know maybe that there's better, and there's a lot of coins in the environment. So it's not your fault. You just haven't found it yet. And that's, in my opinion, why there's so many coins in the environment. Obama said it. He said, this is how we're going to do this. We're going to do it with confusion. How do they confuse you? Well, let's just make a shit ton of coins. They won't know which one to pick, and they'll be able to delay and make more time for planning to take over the whole environment, while they confuse you with second layer tokens and NFTs, which serve no purpose. They give you no power. Crypto gave us power, real world power. The power to say, no, you cannot see what's in my wallet without my permission, right? You got to think logically. If you have a leather wallet in your pants, right, somebody has to ask you what's in your wallet, literally, in order for them to know what's in your wallet. And at that point in time, you say, who are you? Why do you want to know what's in my wallet, right? But you don't have that pleasure in transparent chains. That doesn't exist. Everyone can see what's in your wallet. You see, so logically, crypto is not crypto. You see, it don't make sense anymore. There's a reason in the beginning we all wanted privacy. That is crypto is privacy. Like, it's the definition of the goddamn word. Get with the program. Hey, don't sit there saying Bitcoin is gold. Oh, it's fully decentralized. Who gives a shit if it's decentralized? Nobody cares. Unless you're decentralizing something that's private. Because now you're adding fault tolerance to something that can give you power for a longer time. That's why you decentralize it. All right, we're coming to the end here, guys. Feel free to open your mics. Tell me why. Tell me why you think, do you think Komodo is going into a wrong direction? Do you think it's going into a better direction? Tell me. Open the mic. Give me your concerns. Hang Lu, can GleecDEX be made to operate as with its own peer ID, its own network ID, so that it doesn't share liquidity with the Komodo forks?
Yes, that can be done.
Oh, Polly, what's up, my man? Want to be my co-host? I lost my co-host.
My understanding. I just say it's probably net ID is the one that makes all sharing in the channel, right? So it's pretty easy to change the ID. So,
and then going forward, we could all fork GleecDEX, and then the liquidity will be shared with GleecDEX, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's my understanding. Now, I do have a question on that. So one thing I'm not so clear about this is there's always a potential issue, legal. more of a not business issue, more of a legal issue. Like when you trade DEX, there's always a fee go to somewhere, and the fee is obviously go pay for an account. The account obviously has a key. The key has an owner. We don't pay that much of money. I don't feel like it's a big deal of this. However, it's a legal issue. Whoever control the key gets a lawsuit. Oh, you're using this, you get paid for it. You see what I mean? So it might be something that I don't understand the whole thing. Maybe Komodo dev can explain this. So I think for now it should be.
So any fees, make them get burned. That's it. If they get burned, there's no issues, right?
Yeah, if that's get burned, no problem. Automatic buy or something. That's some kind of technology upgrade in the future. It's not there in the plan, but it's not there yet.
But there are solutions, is what I'm saying. Solutions to these problems.
Yeah, future solution.
So Polly, come on, brother. What do you think? Come on up, man. We're gonna survive or we're gonna die? What's gonna happen to Komodo?
Well, things are, obviously changing quite a bit. Unfortunately, I don't have much more information than you guys. The general gist of the situation, basically, James and Noash decided to cut down funding and wanted to place Komodo kind of on a skeleton crew. There was only going to be around like 6 or 7 of us left. And we would have finished up any obligations that we've had, with regarding the DEX, and try to fulfill the promises with the EVM swap and proof of stake switch. Now, when this budget cut was kind of out of nowhere. But essentially, my understanding is that while the technology is good, to generate the amount of revenue it needs to be self-sustaining, doesn't look like it would happen without the intervention of players that can market it, players who can provide the liquidity and operations on the DEX itself, to be successful enough. So this was about, just give you some time frame. End of October-ish, we learned this. Then about like 3 weeks ago, we're trying to find a solution because most of the people were going to be laid off at the beginning of December, that they decided to, you're looking out and seeing who buy, I guess IP rights. Like I said, I don't know too much about it. I just, know from, being around CA and such, and I'm sure he'll go into more detail. He comes on later. So one of the Komodo ecosystem chains that was actually using software that we built for them and generating a profit, was interested in buying it out. And in doing so, taking on all the people who were going to be let go at the beginning of this month. So Komodo would live into the future, in some form. Right. And Gleec, which has, the licenses in Europe, I'm guessing a vast license, we'll be able to actually do the things like we wanted to, like such as being like a primary market maker on the DEX. Right. They'll be able to do it compliantly. Now, will this bring things like KYC, AML, and will there be a non-KYC DEX? I don't know. I don't have any answers.
Right. We don't know the
I don't know specifics of such. I do know that so a few weeks back, whenever this thing started being kicked off, I was kind of set on a task to combine my ideas that I had for the EVM chain, and we're going through them to set up a revenue generation project which allows Komodo ecosystem, both Komodo and other ecosystem coins such as Pirate and Varus and Marmara and such, to be utilized, in it. And CA and I are figuring out a way that the community also will gain a part of this, as via airdrop and possibly some other mechanisms. But this still, it's all kind of being developed. All this kind of happened really quickly. I did not expect to go from
initial call to fully done in a couple week period. So a lot of your questions on what this whole Gleek thing means are going to best be answered by CA because I was essentially kept out of it. So
Will you be
I,
hosting? Will you be hosting the next hour?
well, yeah, I mean, definitely be there and answer what I can, but it's mainly going to be like CA talking about his stuff and about how everything went down.
I'm
And
gonna. I just sent you the
future.
list. I just sent you the list of questions that I've been collecting, so you could ask it to him.
Okay, yeah,
Right? Because these are all the questions gathered from the community. And they need to be addressed.
okay, yeah.
But hey, am I wrong by thinking that Komodo will be the Zcash to pirate? Will be the like Zcash to pirate. This will be Komodo will be the Zcash to all the dexes out there. They'll create the technology and we'll fork it.
I mean, like the roadmap and how things go and how they treat the licenses. Do they make a new version with a different license and so on? It's it's kind of impossible to predict. But I don't see them wanting to turn away our existing user base either, right? So it's not all doom and gloom. It's right now it's just kind of let's wait and see how it all plays out.
Right. And anytime we all hear, no, especially pirates, anytime we hear the word compliance, we all get like, we all get frazzled, right? I think that's why we lost Canada today. But you have to understand in crypto, you got to keep your head on a swivel. Crypto is never about just one technology or one coin. I've been here 16 years. It's always about hopping to the next coin that makes a better product. To me, a more private product. So don't ever think this is the end. It's never the end. I've been here 16 years. It is never the end. Crypto just keeps going. It doesn't stop. So if something comes out that's better, you jump on the next thing that's better. That's how it works. I went from coins like Fibre coin back in the day that had anonymous transactions, which weren't really anonymous, and then I went to Monero. Now I'm in Pirate, right? So like you move on, right? And if Pirate one day gets compromised, we'll move over to Pirate version 2 or whatever comes out next. That's how crypto is. You have to get that, right? You can't fall in love with a coin in this environment. Now, love is just a word. Probably doesn't even exist. I rather the word care, right? Because I care about everybody. This love word is it's a little too deep. It puts you too emotionally involved. It makes you think, this coin can love you back. It cannot love you back. It's a coin. So keep in mind, technology is just a thing. It's not a living thing, but it is a thing. In the next 10 minutes, guys, we're gonna have CA333 come on and tell us what's up. And I'm not sure if the Gleek owners are gonna participate, but that would be great. That would be good because we want to know, who took over this coin, right? I want to know what mindset. I want to examine the guy, right? We all do. Right? We want to know if this guy is a privacy focused guy, or are we just going to become Zcash? But look, we're all still here, and that's the most important part. And nobody has left. We all moved to make something better. And if there's something we don't like, we're going to make it better. Right? We'll just fork it and we'll make it better. That's what crypto has always done. All right, guys, jump in. Tell me your thoughts. We got a few more minutes before the next show starts. So jump in. Tell me what you think. Have you used GleecDEX? Have you tried it? Get in there. Use it. Start promoting the coins that are going in the direction of non-compliance, right? Because that's what crypto is. Crypto is not about compliance. It never was. If you comply, it's not free. Right? Somebody's telling you what to do, right? What do I always say? Nobody tells me what to do. Nobody. That's what crypto is. Nobody tells crypto what to do. Only a developer can do that. That's why developers will be kings of the world. With AI now, there's going to be a lot more developers because AI is making development a lot easier, especially if you already know code and you know certain languages. AI could fill in those blanks that you always had trouble with. It could help you fix things that you were having trouble fixing. It really is progressing development. I think there's Perplexity.ai. There's quite a few out there. Venice as well. If you don't know AI, I was opposed to it a long time ago. I didn't touch it at all for quite a long time until Venice came out. Go look into it. It's incredible. I mean, it's incredible, and it's going to remove a lot of jobs out there, unfortunately, or fortunately. The things you do on a daily basis can be done in AI in seconds. And literally, you can make a song that sounds so professional, which blew my mind. You guys have been seeing me play with the Suno AI. It's incredible. It's so amazing. It makes these songs, and they actually sound good. I'm over here bopping my head, like, oh my God, this AI just made a song I like. That's rare. So get ready for the future, because the future is going to be AI, and the battle will be between privacy AIs and the ones we got now, which are who knows who's controlling those. But you can see that by the censorship of a lot of these AIs is that you try I told the AI to make me a nice picture of an old Jewish man with two dogs in a chair, and it's like, oh, we can't give you that. Why? Because they said the word Jewish. That's so stupid. There's nothing wrong with that. And then I said something about sex, but it wasn't bad. I didn't say make something graphic. I just said show me two animals having sex. It won't do it, right? So that's bad. That's just that somebody is censoring it somewhere, and the battle will be in AI. That the ones that don't censor you. At this point, Venice is the only one so far that I use that doesn't have censorship. It's actually really cool. It's not fully private. I know that. Uses a domain, a .com. .coms could be stopped, guys. Anything built on a .com could be stopped. Because you don't own the .com. It's rented to you. That's why when the Pirate Bay, those old school sites, that's how they shut them down. They just had to shut down the .com, and that was it. It's over. Right? That's why I always encourage projects to create an application, create an open source app, don't put it on a website, and allow everybody to download it so it is all over the world and it cannot be stopped. And they took over GitHub for that reason. That's why nobody trusts GitHub anymore. Guys, feel free to talk. This is a good thing, and it's a bad thing, and it's a good thing, and it's a bad thing. Hey, it's a good song. Maybe I'll make one. Right? So don't ever think that anything is dead, because crypto never dies. I've been here 16 years. You know how many times I thought it was going to die? It doesn't die. This tech keeps going forward. And if you think that developers now, aren't going to do it, there's always new developers that come. With the balls to do what needs to be done. It always happens. That's okay.
Yeah, on the topic of AI, you're right. For now, it's going to be a big focus. One of the biggest RAM manufacturers, Micron, is no longer selling to consumers. They're only going to sell to AI data centers.
What's that mean? I don't understand.
It means if you're going to build a computer or buy a computer that has RAM in it, which is all of them, you're going to be paying a lot more for that RAM. And they're ramping up all the AI data centers being built. They need all the RAM they can get.
Yeah, it's very hardware intensive. I know that. And then I believe Polly will take it away, Polly?
Yeah. Get started, but I'm trying to get a hold of CA because really this meeting here tonight, he's going to be the one that has a lot of the answers.
Cool. I look forward to it, man. I'll be asking my own questions in the chat as well, so don't be surprised. Anyway, this is the end of the crypto conspiracy, guys. Let me just shut this recording off real quick so we can get started with Polly and CA233. Yes, I have a Brooklyn accent. Don't make fun of me. So thanks for joining us today, guys, on the crypto conspiracy. I will always give you my honest thoughts. I am never always right, and I'm never always wrong. I love you all. This is Roots signing out.
A privacy change about to blow your brain. Don't know what it's gonna take to stop all the fake crypto shit that's breaking my balls. Watching you buy it up as pirate falls. Don't wake up, stay asleep, or dress up like little Bo Peep. Bitch, your privacy is the prize. Pirate can bring free markets in the P2P. Freedom a real economy needs. Crypto ain't a game, you can take me as a saint. I may be sick in the brain, but what you do is a stain. As you generations go down the drain, asking for privacy makes you a fruitcake. When pirate just takes what opens awakes. Privacy maximizes the cash, continue to lie. Did go that's the government permission to exist. Can you make this make sense? Adding more privacy. Seems a danger for people to watch out for, like GPS in your car, sending back data to insurance companies and advertisers. Things like Easy Pass, recording you locations. Every app on your phone is ratting you out. Your ISP can see everything you do online. Cryptos that are transparent are not crypto. As you fail to see the war in crypto. Privacy change about to blow your brain. But don't know what it's gonna take to stop all the fake crypto shit that's breaking my balls. Watching you buy it up as pirate falls. GPS in your car, sending data back to insurers and advertisers. Easy Pass tracking your every move. Your location is never a secret. Every app on your phone ratting you out, selling your data to highest bidder. Sees everything, your browsing history, your secrets. Crypto that's transparent. It's not crypto, it's just a fake. The war in crypto, it's real. And it's time to wake. Don't wake up, stay asleep, or dress up like little Bo Peep. It's to rise, your privacy is the prize. Pirate can bring free markets into P2P. Freedom a real economy needs. Crypto. I didn't know privacy. Crypto.
Population increases geometrically. Economy grows arithmetically. We pop out new babies 100 times faster than we grow food enough to feed them. Bottom line, there is never enough food to sustain the existent population. 3 things keep the balance: famine, disease, and war. Eureka, pal.